Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the explosive allegations levelled at the former boss of medical services at Launceston General Hospital. A parliamentary inquiry into ambulance ramping has heard accusations a top doctor falsified death certificates and led a culture of cover-ups.
Nurse, midwife, and now whistleblower. Amanda Duncan's evidence at an inquiry into ramping, lifting the lid on shocking claims of misconduct at one of the state's largest hospitals, accusing former Director of Clinical Services at Launceston General Hospital of falsifying death certificates during his tenure.
Multiple nurses have alleged to me the only time we ever see Peter Renshaw on the wards was when he came to change a patient's cause of death.
Saying the top doctor also pressured juniors to do the wrong thing.
Dr. Renshaw would, at times, attempt to coerce them into incorrectly documenting a cause of death in the emergency department.
And making this bombshell claim, deaths which should have been reported to a coroner weren't.
Allegations of deaths not being reported as they should have been to the coroner are very serious allegations.
Mr. Renshaw has been contacted for comment. The registered nurse also claims hospital management continued to perform elective and non-urgent surgery after a code brown was declared on the day of the Hillcrest tragedy.
Theatre nurses reported it was by sheer luck, not careful design, that a patient was in the anaesthetic room and had not yet been anaesthetised in the emergency theatre.
It does beg the question about the enormous pressure that has been brought to bear on the LGH and other hospitals.
The Department of Health says it's already investigating allegations made about Dr. Renshaw during the ramping inquiry last month and is seeking further information to support its probe.
We take this matter very seriously. It is a concern. I will be asking my health department to follow up and investigate and report back to me.
But Amanda says a commission of inquiry into the health system is needed.
Safe, accessible, equitable and timely healthcare should not be wishful thinking, but guaranteed for all people.
Annie Green, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, East Coast community leaders have joined the Premier in signing a major agreement at a regional cabinet meeting today. It's set to see extensive investment in health, tourism and housing. Elsewhere, education was Labor's focus, new data painting a damning light on teacher shortages.
Signing off on the next big regional partnership. The state government spruiking a $5 million plan to boost healthcare, education, jobs and tourism on the East Coast.
Ensure that the strategic needs of communities, such as the one we're in now, well thought through, well planned and very well implemented.
Today, a mixed bag of East Coast leaders joining the Premier in signing a memorandum of understanding, welcoming the extensive commitment.
Very pleased with the MOU. We've been after some of this funding for quite some time.
To really highlight the positive impact that tourism has on our region, but we also really understand that the community needs to be brought along for the ride.
Back in Hobart, the waters weren't so calm. A wave of education woes hitting with force. Labor highlighting new Productivity Commission data showing Tasmanian students are falling behind other states, calling for further investment in early childcare.
People in education today are going to be our leaders of tomorrow. They're going to be business leaders, they're going to be civic leaders, they're going to work in our aged care services, our health services, and we need to invest in them.
With students beginning to return to classrooms, the education union's backing Labor's calls. Its survey revealing 38% of Tasmanian principals have reported a teacher shortage. Principals also returning to work early to fill vacant positions.
We're seeing people burn out, we're seeing people leave the profession, and we can't just simply rely on the goodwill of teachers and support staff to carry the system.
The government saying it's made clear commitments to teacher recruitment.
There's much to be proud of when it comes to our education system and record amounts of funding, but also the investment per student is the highest in the nation.
With whispers of an early election still spreading as Friday's meeting with independents Lara Alexander and John Tucker draws closer.
Tasmanians want stable government. I think what we're seeing with the instability and the chaos of the current Liberal government is that it's not good for Tasmania.
A wave of uncertainty that many hope to see the end of soon. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
An interstate magistrate is set to handle a case involving a Supreme Court judge. Previously pleading not guilty to emotional and common assault, Justice Gregory Geeson was too unwell to front a Hobart magistrate today, appearing by phone instead. He has been bailed to appear in April, local magistrates refusing to deal with the matter due to professional and personal relationships. And there were tense scenes in court as the long-awaited inquest into Jari Wise's death got underway. Witnesses probed about whether the evidence given to inspectors 4 years ago had any truth to it.
Tireless in their fight for justice, Jari Wise's supporters standing up outside Hobart Magistrates Court ahead of an inquest into his death 3 years ago. The 27-year-old father struck by a car his former partner Melissa Oates was driving in Huonville. Coroner Simon Cooper now tasked with determining whether Jari had a history of jumping in front of cars. Oates' cousin Amber Lovell was first to give evidence, telling the court just a week before the fatal, a similar situation happened to her. It was like a cat stepping out in front of me and I slammed the brakes on. Crying and swearing on the stand, the young woman's demeanour escalated when asked if she fabricated the story to protect Oates. Lovell shouting, "This has affected me. I don't care about any of this. He's dead and he's not coming back." Meanwhile, mistakes made in a statutory declaration also came to light. Oates' friend Katie Sheed originally recounting an incident involving Jari jumping towards Oates' car. Today, a different story. "It was dark, obviously dark, and she didn't see him. I yelled at her and she swerved. I remember him jumping away from the car." Jari's mother could come face to face with her son's former partner tomorrow when the inquest continues. Melissa Oates due to be formally questioned for the first time since her conviction for dangerous driving. Jari's advocates hoping to find the truth behind his death. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
Through world wars and even the COVID pandemic, nothing has stopped the Hobart Cup, which is about to celebrate its 150th consecutive running. Fashion is as big a part of the races now as it was then, although the styles have certainly changed.
The turf's been mowed, the cup polished. All that's missing is the crowd at Elwick Racecourse.
This is absolutely my favourite time of year, let me tell you. The fashion, the excitement of the races, and best of all, the actual community of people getting together.
150 years strong, the Hobart Cup has run every year since 1875. The 1972 winner even going on to win the Melbourne Cup, beating Gunsend and Magnifique.
But Purping Lane has won the money. A boil over, Purping Lane first.
And every year, punters have packed in to watch the action.
Every year, we continue to build on our offering of fine food, fine wine, fine company, superb entertainment.
But the races are as much about fashion as racing. Trends have certainly moved on since the early days. And the garish hats of the 90s.
A well put together outfit, coordinated from head to toe. It is a good time to experiment and go outside the box.
This year's theme is a touch of vintage, a nod to the sesquicentennial year.
That touch of vintage could include anything from a simple brooch, a vintage piece of millinery or a full vintage outfit.
With $9,000 of prizes up for grabs in fashions on the field, it's well worth dressing up.
You don't have to spend a fortune. It's about something you feel comfortable in and you're going to be confident in.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's harness racing industry knew there'd be short-term pain from warding off the people named by the Murray report, and now we're seeing the first casualty. Officials calling off Burnie's Friday night harness meeting due to a very low number of nominations. The horses which did nominate will have the opportunity to run at Carrick Park's Sunday meeting instead. Local snake catchers are being put to work with more reptiles on the move this breeding season. They're putting Tasmanians on notice, urging anyone who comes across unexpected visitors to remain calm and call in the professionals.
Scaly encounters are on the rise, with the warm weather bringing out the unwanted sunbakers. Their movements keeping snake wranglers busy.
We're averaging a few a day lately. It's because the weather is warming up now, and obviously breeding season is starting off.
Local catchers are responding to more urgent call-outs as more snakes rear their heads a little too close to home.
Basically every suburb in Launceston has received a snake call this year. There's a lot more youngsters getting about.
A number of those recent encounters taking even the most seasoned professionals by surprise.
I had one went under a dog kennel. They'll pop up anywhere really. You never know what you're going to get.
I've pulled them out of their beds, I've pulled them out of babies' cots. You name it, I've found a snake.
Putting themselves in the firing line with both the community and the reptiles' safety top of mind.
You know, there's people out there that rescues the furry animals and all that kind of stuff, but no one for the scaly animals. They're just trying to live like the rest of us.
With the breeding season just getting started, the experts are sharing their advice for those who stumble across an unwelcome visitor.
Don't try and pick it up and show your mates. Just call a professional snake catcher. We'll be straight out there.
Keep your eye on the snake at all times. This is the best way because we can go straight to it when we do arrive.
Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
The Tigers just need to win one of their last 2 matches against Victoria to guarantee themselves a home WNCL final as they go for a 3rd straight series victory, getting their campaign back on track after suffering their first loss of the season against WA.
There's still a little bit of pressure on them to get the three-peat. The values within our group are to always look to put the team first, and in that is always looking to get better.
The coach is hopeful she'll have all players clear of international duties in time for finals.
Good evening. Hobart reached 20 today. Launceston the state's high with 24, Devonport 22 and Burnie 23. Our interesting summer continues. Temperatures mostly below average today, some by up to 6 degrees. Cressy 23, Bushy Park and Campania 22, Low Head and Friendly Beaches 21, St Helens and the Bass Strait Islands 20, 19 today in Strawn. We did have a few light scattered showers over the west, far south and east. Partly cloudy conditions across the state today. Cloud off the New South Wales coast extends over the Tasman Sea. Thunderstorm activity within the cloud cover over South Australia, Queensland and the Northern Territory. Tomorrow a cold front sits to the east of Tasmania as a high pressure ridge builds over southern states. Winds for us coming in from the west-southwest at 10 to 20 knots and to 30 knots over the far south early. Swells there to 3 metres, and also a strong wind warning there in those southern waters from Tasman Island to South East Cape. Wednesday for Hobart, a top of 23 and partly cloudy. Geeveston 21, 22 the top for Bothwell. Launceston 26, a sunny day. Devonport sunny as well. Fine and sunny for Cressy and 25 degrees. Burnie expecting 23 and mostly sunny. The chance of an early shower clearing from Strawn, 19 the top and 20 for Curry. And in the east, mostly sunny. St Helens 21, 22 for Swansea. Orford warming up to 23. On to Thursday now, and fine across Tasmania and nice and sunny over Strawn. Fine again for most of Friday, but there is the chance of a shower over the west and maybe later moving to the east coast. And on Saturday a possible light shower over the far northwest, but again a mostly fine partly cloudy day. Sunny and 36 in Perth, fine in Adelaide, partly cloudy conditions in Melbourne and showers forecast for Sydney and Brisbane. Sunny in Hobart, 18 at the moment, 21 in Launceston, Devonport currently 20 degrees. Big news today, Kim, interest rates on hold. I guess I'm not going to get any more payments on that money you owe me.
No, you're just going to have to write that one off, Murph. Good night. That is all we have time for tonight. On behalf of the team, thanks for joining us. Good night.